for the healthy people too. Um, I'm kind of snickering at myself because I don't like this setup that I'm using for video right now. And I have a really, really good light and it gives me much better quality. But when HAPS updated a couple months ago, I can't put my I can't film in landscape anymore. And my really kick-ass light has a oh my gosh, I can't, a phone holder. I don't know what else to call it. But I've got a big damn phone. So it won't. Anyway, I couldn't get my phone in there to shoot in portrait. And I ordered a piece for it and I got it and I put it in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. But my lazy ass has been sitting down still. So I don't know why. I actually prefer standing to do my videos, but I've just been so lazy. I don't want to screw with the new setup. And then, I say that and then I do a video and then I'll start watching the playback. And I don't know why this light looks completely different when I'm recording than it does on the playback. I don't like it on the playback, but like right now, it looks great. Anyway, that's definitely not what I wanted to talk about. I just think it's weird that I wanted that piece so bad so I could go back to my good light, and then I haven't done it. I've had the damn piece for a couple of weeks. But anyway, excuse me. Let's talk about setting boundaries. I'll be really honest. This is something I struggle with. Why? Because I'm a people pleaser. I like to make everybody around me happy. The problem is oftentimes I worry about everybody else before I worry about making myself happy. So let's talk about setting boundaries. This information is from Psychology Today. We teach people, it's really true. We teach people how to treat us. We teach people the things that you allow. What I tend to do, and this, I'm so bad about this. I'll set a boundary. Like, no, this is my boundary. And then someone will push and push. And it's like, well, okay, that's not so bad. So I'll step back and I'll step back. But you know what? That's not good. And people pleasers, we go along to get along. Oh, thank you for the subscription, honey. Thank you very much. We put you ahead of us, and that's really frustrating. And oh, hi, honey. How are you? It's good to see you again. How have you been? I hope everything's going well. I've had COVID with my fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's. It's been a wild ass ride, let me tell you, but I'm feeling much better. And if, knock wood, if my clinic holds my migraine therapy treatment, my migraine treatment, but however the hell you want to look at it, my Botox on Thursday, I'm really hopeful that's going to change a lot for me because I'm now 5 weeks overdue and it's not my fault. It's my clinic. I have 2 doctors I see there and I absolutely adore both of them, but the clinic sucks. But that's another story. Anyway, here are some tips on setting boundaries. And you guys, you need to learn how to do this. It's important for your mental health. And your mental health directly impacts your physical health. Number 1, you have to know yourself. Know thyself, as they say, right? What really matters to you? What are your values? Now, that sounds like a really simple question, doesn't it? But can you answer it? If you had to write them down right now, could you do it? Most of us can't because most of us haven't bothered to take a look at ourselves. But you know what? The better you understand yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to set and stick by boundaries. Number 2, you need to accept your responsibility for your role. Your failure to set and enforce boundaries, you can't blame people for running all over you. It's on you. It really, truly is. A good example, and I like to use this because I don't have kids and my mom wasn't this type of mom, at least I don't think she was. So I'm not throwing her under the bus. I stole this from one of my mentors. But maybe your mom doesn't approve of the way that you're raising your children. And she calls you and she jumps your ass about it all the time. Well, you know how you handle that? You very politely, just, Mom, you know what? I love you. I don't want to have this conversation with you. So I got to go. I got some things to do. I'll talk to you in a few days. Love you. And then hang up the phone. If she calls back, don't answer. You told her you were busy. You told her you had something to do. Go do something. Even if you don't really have something to go, there's always something you can go do. Go do something to take your mind off of it. But that's up to you to set that boundary. And if you're not going to set it, and the next time you have the conversation with your mom, and that, the way that you handle your children, you keep doing that. She'll take the hint. And I'll be honest, people don't really like it when all of a sudden you set boundaries. But if you're not going to set that boundary, you can't complain that your mom chews your ass all the time about how you're raising your kids. You just can't. Sorry. Number 3, you got to love yourself. Look, I used to be really ashamed of my past, but you know what? All of those experiences, the good and the bad and the really ugly, they've all made me who I am today. And honestly, yeah, I got some work to do. Certainly, I would never deny that. Everybody should feel that they have work to do, but I like who I am. I'm kind. I try to be generous with people. I wouldn't be this person if it weren't for all of those experiences. So you know what? You need to embrace that stuff. You've made it this far. You're obviously doing pretty well. Okay? You've got to give yourself a little bit of credit. You don't have to be delighted with your circumstances to be content with who you are as a person. When you love and respect yourself, guess what? You're going to expect that kind of treatment from other people. And if other people aren't willing to respect your boundaries, you need to really make a decision. How bad do you need that person in your life? I'm so bad at this. Don't get hung up on the idea of who someone is. People show you who they are. Don't project. Even if your opinion of somebody is really high, you know what? Some people aren't capable of living up to that. You don't have any right to project your opinion on them. You need to let them show you who they are and accept them for who they are. Someone's an ass, that's on them. That's not your problem. You cannot fix that. You need to be choosy who you spend your time with. Number 4, you've got to heed the warnings. Again, people show you who they are. If someone refuses to respect your boundaries, you need to let go and move on. You'll know. They're not subtle about it. Now, what do you do if it's someone you can't gently? Please don't ever be an ass to somebody, please. But if it's someone you can't just gently ease out of your life, you need to find a way to limit your exposure to them, and you're going to have to find a way to deal with your attitude towards them. An example of this, I used to work with this lady. Thank goodness she retired. She was really, really difficult to work with. And one day I was walking across, she was in I work for a pretty large organization, and I'm walking across the quad going over to her building, and I caught myself walking over there just muttering and cursing under my breath, and oh gosh damn it, she's gonna nitpick the shit out of everything I did, and it's gonna be horrible. And all of a sudden I caught myself like, why am I giving this crazy lady this kind of power over my thoughts and my mood? So instead, I started telling myself, she has an incredible eye for detail. She's going to catch mistakes that I may have missed. Now, does that mean that every time I had to deal with that lady, it went wonderfully? No, it didn't. She was still very critical. She was still, in fact, hypercritical. But you know what? That wasn't about me. That's just who she was. Well, I assume she's still the same way. I just don't have to work with her anymore. But I made sure to limit my exposure to her. If I could send paperwork over with somebody else, I was happy. Oh, you're headed over there here. Will you please take this over? I limited my exposures to her. I tried to make sure everything that we did was in writing. Oh, yes. Yes, you do. Because if you weren't that kind of person, you wouldn't be a nurse, right? I'm too selfish to be a nurse, and I'm really squeamish. I'm so squeamish. It's really pathetic, especially after all the crazy medical things that I've been through. You'd think I'd be past that, but I still can't watch. It's so funny. I used to watch autopsy shows. I thought they were fascinating. Then I only one time saw something that was so gross I had to change the channel. But you know what I can't watch? I cannot watch somebody get a shot in a movie or on a TV show, even though I know it's fake. I don't know. I can't handle. I get really squeamish. So yeah, I would not make a good nurse. Ha 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 ha. Nope. I do not like the blood. I do not like the vomit. I do not like the poop. I don't like none of it. I am just, yeah, I can be really, I'm, I'm prissy. I'll own it. I'm prissy. Number 5, don't be a fixer. You you cannot fix other people. You can't. You just can't. The only person you can fix is yourself. Some of us, I'd love to try to fix people because, and it is out of a sincere effort to want to help people. But you know what? No one ever asked my pushy ass to fix anything. And I have to remember that. And I have to remember that change comes from within. Whether it's my change or your change, I can't force you to do, damn it. I can't force you to do something just because I want you to. I have to accept that. I cannot fix other people. I have to, and you know what? You shouldn't really want to, truly. That's a control freak kind of thing. Look, I'll own it. I'm pretty honest and upfront about at least most of my faults. I'm sure there's a few I'm in denial of, but I try to be pretty upfront and honest about it. And yeah, I can be a little bit of a control freak, but if you're trying to change somebody else, you're wasting your time, and all you're going to do is piss them off, and they're not going to want to hang out with you anymore. Because think about it. Do you want to spend time with people like that? No, you don't. Finally, number 7, you need to create a little psychic space. You can be emotionally attached and remain, if it's somebody that you care about, you can still have that emotional attachment, but you can learn how to remain detached on an intellectual or psychological level. Setting boundaries means that you can be yourself without getting caught up in other people's emotions and drama. That sounds so negative. I don't mean it that negative, but you don't, oh shit, I skipped something. Excuse me. I'm trying so hard not to cuss as much. You need to remember that you're in charge. You are the only person in charge of your life. If you don't like where you're at, you need to do something about it. You can change your mind. You can change your beliefs. You can change any of that. And you know what? You don't have to ask a damned soul for permission. If you are not happy with your life, change it. Start working on yourself. And you know what? When you start working on yourself, you will get pushed back. I'm not friends. All the people that I used to be friends with before I started working on myself, I'm not friends with very many of them anymore. Why? Because they didn't like the changes I was making. And tough. Too bad. Yeah. It's the crab in the bucket thing, right? When you're running around with people and you're all depressed and you're all angry and you're all pissy, they don't want you to succeed. They're not happy for you. So if they see you trying to climb out, they're going to grab you and pull you back down. You have to limit your exposure to people like that. You have to understand that when you start improving your life, a lot of people are going to give you pushback. And you know what? You don't owe those people a gosh damned thing. You don't owe anybody at all an explanation, especially if you're working on yourself and getting your shit together and trying to be a better person. And the people who aren't going to support you in that, you need to be prepared to just walk the hell away and don't look back. Because if people don't lift you up, you really don't need them in your life. Now, I know when it's family, it's a lot trickier, and I understand that. But I'm not talking family relationships. I'm talking the people around you, the people that you choose to spend your time with. You don't owe anybody an explanation, period. Anyway, back to the psychic space. Sorry about that. But you need to be able to get a healthy view of other people without drawing their conflict into yourself. Now, I tend to be very, oh my gosh, I just forgot the word. It's been a bad brain fog day. What the hell is very empathetic. And I actually often will literally soak up other people's emotions. And I've had to learn, it's been really hard. I've had to learn how to distance myself. And one of my closest friends, I love her to death. I could pick up the phone and call her, and I know for a fact she'd be there. But we don't talk a whole lot because my situation is hard for her to deal with. She's an empath. She soaks up all the emotions. And you know what? We've had the conversation. I get it. And like I said, I know she'd be there if I need her. But I also don't lean on her unless it's really important, because I know what it's like to suck up other people's emotions, and it really sucks. You have to learn how to do that, though. That's what setting boundaries, that's what it's about. Anyway, I don't feel good, but on the positive side, I am hopefully going in for my migraine treatment Thursday. Now, I will tell you, they gave me a freaking heart attack this morning because they called, and I didn't catch the phone. They had to leave a message, and I called them back, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, please don't tell me you're canceling my appointment. And it was actually the same young lady I spoke to the other day, and she was very sweet. She's like, no, we just had to clear something up. So I was like, girl, you scared the hell out of me. But and then I managed to get in for a massage today for the first time in months. And it felt amazing, but it wiped me right out. So I'm going to go. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Look, I am certainly not an expert on setting boundaries, but if you're dealing with health issues, or you have a loved one who's dealing with health issues and you're not sure how to handle it and what to do, drop me a line on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. I try to be very responsive. And that, helping people like that, that's why I do these things. And frankly, it's cheap therapy for me. But anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic night. I will be back Wednesday at 5 o'clock Alaska time. Thank you, honey. It was so good to see you. I really appreciate your time. I truly do. Have a wonderful night.